Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, how are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 video. So, at the back end of last week, Bethesda opened the PTS, and we get our first look now at the overhauled building system, the new building menus, and the changes to the way the building mechanics in general work, specifically the relaxed building rules. And I have been playing away over the weekend. I've had a decent dive into it so far. More to check out for sure, but good first look. And first impressions are mostly good, I have to say. They have set off in the direction of the things we wanted them to change, and they have certainly gone a long way towards achieving that, which is a great start. So, for a quick overview, we're going to go through sort of a little chat about what they're changing and my first impressions of it, and we'll have a look at my first sort of building effort with this new system as well in just a minute. But if you'd like to sort of see the building itself and my sort of more detailed exploration of the new system, then I live streamed it at the weekend, so I will link that down in the top comment and hopefully in the top right corner as well, assuming I remember. And yeah, you can have a look at that and check out the building system in more detail. It's about 3 hours long, so yeah, grab a cup of tea or something. But if you want to actually get a decent look at what this is like in use and sort of see me figuring it out as I go, then that's the place to do that. Obviously, subsequent content will have more detail, and I'll do a full overview of it once all the features are in the game, because they're not there yet. But for now, that's where we're up to. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff changed. You can have a look here and have a look at the new menu, and it's a bit big, but you can kind of see what's going on clearer. It's much more well organised on the whole, caveat there, but it is definitely better organised. Things are broken down into subsections more. It's easier to find what you're looking for. Mostly, there is some really weird developer logic going on in there. Prime example would be display items are listed as storage. Obvious reason for that is that they connect to your stash box, but it's really not where you'd think to find a display item under storage, for me at least anyway, so it's a bit odd. There's definitely a few bits that need working on. The whole menu system can absolutely do with another very, very large and pretty intense organisation pass, I think. Like I say, they've definitely improved things. Things are easy to find, but they haven't gone far enough in some areas. Really good example is the building parts, the camp building parts, the walls, the floors, the foundations, the roofs, all that stuff. They've reorganised that, it's a lot better. All the stuff that is from a given set is together in the same place, which is great to see. However, you've got sort of walls together and then all of the other pieces separate. They're close together, they're next to each other in the list, but they're not under the same subheading. Really what they need to do is go in there and change it so that you've got like building kits, particularly on the wall section, that are all in a single subheading. So if you go to the abandoned mine set, it's all in the same place, for example. Whereas right now it's under one large heading, and then there's a load of bits that aren't under that heading, they're separate. The upshot of that is you've got like 200 pieces under the wall section before you even get into the sub-menus. So yeah, that can really be compressed down further, I think. And most of the other sections have similar stuff going on. There's some really odd bits and pieces. There's some strange crossovers as well. There are a few items that are in multiple places. The drums, the oil drums, some of them are listed as decoration items, but they're also listed as seats as well because they're musical instruments, and it's all a bit strange. There's a lot of stuff like that that definitely could stand for another hard organisation pass before September. And I really hope they can crack on and get that done, because it would be a big benefit to the somewhat improved system, that I think. Right now, the replace button doesn't work at all. If you go into the modify section, it's got more subsections and it's a bit more organised. But yeah, you can't replace things at all. You just got to scrap. There's definitely features missing from the PTS at the moment. They did tell us that in advance. But yeah, looking forward to getting hold of some of those. One of the really cool things you can do is really overlap things more now. Like you push walls into each other. You can have floors sitting one on top of the other so that you can kind of create slightly different shapes to a certain extent. There's a couple of issues with that. Top of the list being when you overlap things, they flicker. Floors are the biggest culprit here, but they're not the only one. And this is a fundamental idea. This is something they definitely wanted to add, is the ability to overlap stuff. But if they can't get rid of the flickering, it's basically worthless. Obviously, you can't go into camp and just have everything flashing at you all the way through. That's just not something you can live with, so they need to get that sorted. It's not going to be easy, I shouldn't imagine, because it's a persistent thing that's hung around for a very long time, but yeah, that is not good. One of the other things that sort of carries on from that, or ties into the overlapping element, is that when you want to put things on strange angles and sort of adjust the positioning of things outside of the conventional snapping setup, you're going to need smaller versions of the various existing pieces in order to plug certain gaps. So half-sized walls, half-sized roof pieces, things like that. Preferably a whole bunch of scrappy end walls like we used to have in Fallout 4 that you could do all manner of interesting things with. Definitely need that sorting out and providing for us so that we can close gaps, because right now you can put things on weird angles and stuff, but what you can actually do with that is kind of limited by the size of the wall pieces that we actually have available to us, unless you want things sticking out in really, really silly ways that aren't going to look even remotely coherent or good. So that definitely needs sorting. It's a whole load of stuff that needs adding, and it needs adding soon, because otherwise this is definitely going to fall short of its potential, to say the least. One of the other things that is really cool is around the mechanics. So you can choose your sort of snapping. They've aimed to relax the building restrictions in general, so that, as I say, you can bypass collision, push objects into each other, overlap objects, stuff like that. There's also a kind of a free building thing, which is really, really cool, because it turns all the snapping and all the collision off, or most of it anyway, and allows you to place things with far greater freedom than you could usually before. And it's been very handy for a number of things. It doesn't completely replace the need to use things like the merge glitch. There's other areas where it just doesn't work, for example, but to some degree it does replace it. For one of the areas that does stand out is you can't really push things into the floor as much as we need to be able to. For example, if you want a short staircase, we don't really have a great many options, but being able to sink some of the larger ones under the ground would definitely help with that, but the game really doesn't like letting you do that at the moment. So yeah, the free placement thing definitely needs its restrictions relaxing even further to fulfill its potential and let you actually do what you want to do. Also, there's a sort of halfway house collision setting that's supposed to turn off the snapping but respect collision. It doesn't respect the collision. It's almost more flexible than the free snapping on occasion. It's a weird halfway house, so this definitely needs a little bit of fine-tuning as well. But, saying that, it is worth noting that, yeah, this thing is on the whole an organisational improvement, which is great to see, and definitely more flexible than it used to be. It's going to take a little while to get used to where stuff is and the new controls and things like that, but it is definitely going to be an improvement in terms of what we can create. So, yeah, we'll take a little look around at my first effort of a build using a whole bunch of stuff that I don't currently have, and some stuff in here that is not actually in the game yet. In the form of just various bits and decoration stuff that I suspect we're getting a sneak peek, whether intended or otherwise, at some of the rewards from the next season, Season 22. So, yeah, let's have a look around this place. Okay, so as you can see, I built a treehouse. The idea was to try and build something that would take advantage of the relaxed building systems and the ability to float things and sort of have reduced collision and stuff like that, so that I can kind of show the new facilities and stuff, as well as, of course, the new menus. Reminder again, if you do want to check out the building in more detail, I will link the stream in which I did it all over the weekend down below and in the top right corner. But yeah, as you can see, it kind of, it's come out alright, I think. Took a minute to break away from the whole box up a tree vibe, but we've got some cool bits going on here that demonstrate at least some of the changed functionality. So you can see those ramps underneath, the supports in the middle attached to the tree, are wall ramps that I just free placed in. They ignored most of the collision on the tree, as did the floors, incidentally. Just very easy to place the initial floor in against the tree and then just snap to the outside of that. And yeah, that just allowed me to build straight out the tree like it was, well, like the tree's kind of grown in and around the wood, which works out quite nicely. And it gives it a decent amount of support. We've got some of the additional supports underneath as well, because it does need that so it doesn't fall down, or at least doesn't look like it's going to fall down. If you build smaller, you could get around that, I suppose. I've actually used a building set I don't normally use, because I don't normally have it, which is the Brotherhood barracks set. It was introduced to line up with the TV series, and yeah, I didn't normally pick it up because it just didn't appeal to me, but I thought for this specific build it kind of works. I've got some weird corners and shapes just to break up the shape, but it works out alright. When I logged out and logged back in again, a lot of the trees and stuff that I'd bulldozed came back. I've added a couple of extras as well, and that really helped to deal with the out-of-place look of the thing, so that was definitely a win. Got a little ramp going up to the balcony there as I way in, and I'm quite pleased. So with the ramp, you can see that it's sort of tucked onto those floor pieces that are sunk into the ground. That's taking advantage of the new building mechanics. The ramp itself is not actually snapped to anything, because you can just bypass the need to do that, which is great. Do wish I could sink them into the ground a bit better, but otherwise it went quite well. So to go for a little sort of cooking area out on the balcony here, and I think it works out all right. It looks okay to me. Kind of offset the roof a little bit so that it's got a little bit of extra headroom. It's kind of independent of the main structure. Again, you sort of see in the top right corner there. That's where I've sort of used the new features as well. So there's a little cooking space, few extra bits and pieces. I don't normally have these fences either, and I can't for the life of me remember where they come from, though I have seen them before. Look by the door, look at that sign! Oh my god, a close the door sign! I've only wanted one of those since the game was first released. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in the next season though, because I don't recall seeing it, and if it had been released before now, I'm about 95% sure I would have noticed, given how keen I've been to have it. So yeah, you sort of see the inside here is Treehouse with a fairly standard Fallout camp vibe, which is kind of what I wanted to go for. And a few bits and pieces around. You can see some of these bits on the walls. I've used the free placement to get it to go sort of inside the collision box on the wall, because the vertical struts on it, the supporting part of the wall, obviously mean a lot of things end up sort of looking like they're floating, but you can use the free placement to just push it a little bit deeper back into the wall, which is cool, not perfect. You can have a look at the floor and see its effect of clipping through the tree there. But it does allow you to get things so that they actually look like they're properly on the wall. You do have a slight issue with some of this, which is not new at all, that when you reload, some elements of the wall will start to clip through stuff you put on the wall, but what can you do? For the most part, the decoration was fairly simple. The fact you can free place allows you to just kind of push things through other objects. So if you've got things like sofas or other furniture that are just getting in the way, and you're there going, oh damn it, I should have put the wall decoration in first. In this case, you just go free placement and just save yourself some messing around. So that's really, really helpful there. That poster behind the TV is a really good example of that working quite nicely. And so that's pretty cool. We've got a whole bunch of stuff here that did use the old traditional, for want of a better word, merge glitch, like the shelves there. I don't know if I could have done those without it, but I don't think I can. There's a few areas where you can definitely push one object into another by turning the collision off, which is great, but it doesn't work universally, so the merge glitch will still be useful. And you've got stuff like that Sheepsquatch poster that I free placed that definitely wasn't clipping in when I put it there. And then I reloaded it, come back, and now the game slightly mispositioned it, and now it is clipping, but what can you do? Little balcony outside. Somewhere to sit, kind of change up the profile of the outside of the building so it's not so flat, really, not so boxy, which works. You can come up to a little top area here with some fun bits and pieces. Being able to free place a lot of this stuff really works with things. These fences, for example, on the side, they are lower than they would normally be because I just free placed them in and sunk them into the wall a little bit, so they're a bit lower. They're a bit more sort of knee height, and it just looks a little bit better for it. And there's little touches like that. We've got these lights up here that you wouldn't normally, or wouldn't previously, have been able to connect to the two posts in that way. Now you can, which is great. You got the railing at the end there by the sort of ramp that would normally insist on snapping to a floor piece, which I could have come up with a way to work around that, sort of, but it would have been much more of a pain in the neck, whereas this one, again, just free place straight in, no problem, looks great. So lots of little bits and pieces like that have given me the ability to do stuff that I couldn't have done as easily at the very least, if not outright not at all. I've got a couple of ideas for taking advantage of this system further to do some fun builds with, so we'll probably be coming back to it during the PTS. But yeah, so far it definitely does allow increased flexibility, but we definitely need small pieces because the basic shape of stuff is still the same, just because we've still got the same pieces, and if you want stuff to connect and not have gaps, you kind of have to stick with the general principle. Overlapping can help to a degree, but then you get the flickering issue that I mentioned earlier on, and that is definitely problematic. You definitely don't want that. But yeah, all in all, I'm reasonably pleased with how this came out for a first effort. I think it looks alright. Definitely some learning of just how flexible this system is still to be done, but that's usual with what is almost a new building system at this point. You'd see the roof there just went straight through the tree, no problem, or almost no problem. I think almost no problem is about the best we could ask for. So there we go. Hope you guys found that useful and informative. As I say, I'll follow up with a more detailed look at the building system when we've got all the features and some more builds as well. If you like the video, please consider dropping subs and likes. I very much appreciate. Down below, I've got social media links if you want notifications and keep up to date with what I'm doing, and channel memberships on the blue join button if you want to support the channel. I really, really appreciate that. It really, really helps out. If you get a chance, join us for live streams as well. We're going to playing 76 and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. That's going to be going on through the week, usually about 8 o'clock in the evening UK time. So if you get a chance, join us for those. But for now, I will say a massive thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.